I should warn you all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And if you're from India, really good evening. I know you guys are up at, well, it's not late, it's 7:30 your time. Happy to see everyone here. I'll warn you, I'm in a new place today. I'm with a friend. Internet is a little slower than what I have at home. And clearly, I have forgotten to bring my headphones. So, all in all, it's going to be a slightly different session just because of the logistics here. That said, it's going to still be pretty much the same. It's the content that I've planned ahead. It's the same. It just builds on what we did last week. And first of all, is anyone here who didn't attend sessions 1, 2, and 3 of this? And if so, have you caught up using the live streams? Just drop a 1 in the chat if you're caught up. Drop a 0 if you're both new and haven't caught up. And it's not going to do anything. I'm not going to change. Okay, so some of you are new and you haven't caught up. Good morning. Yes, bright and early. You're the one I should apologize to. 7 a.m., James. Proud of you. You managed to make it. If you haven't watched the 1, 2, and 3 before, go ahead and watch the replays when you get a chance, because that's how you catch up, right? Also, there's the official Google videos. You should watch those because that's the context upon which we're building this. The replays are on the YouTube channel. And by the way, if you ever see that already full message, go watch live on YouTube because we're always live streaming there. I'm just putting the YouTube link. Just double check that we are actually live there. Yep, we are. Fantastic. Live chat, practical AI skills. Yes. I am just going to grab my. No, it's showing me the live stream. Okay. So I'm just going to give people a few more minutes to join us. And apparently, I was trying to type to the waiting room participants, except that I closed the waiting room. So that's not particularly helpful, is it? Okay. And I think we're just about ready. Yeah, 5 minutes in. Let me just start screen sharing then. Screen share. Yeah, I'm going to share my entire desktop. And as always, go over to the Gamma presentation. And I think the first thing I should do, which I always should do, and I never remember, is give you guys the Google Drive for this training. Drop that in the chat. And also in the YouTube. And good morning, Dimitri. I see you. You're very, very punctual and very consistent. Thank you. Appreciate it. And anyone else also in the YouTube chat, in the YouTube, watching the YouTube live, welcome. And glad to see you all here. Obviously, I don't know where you're all from, but drop any comments you have in the chat. I'll try to keep an eye on both chats. It's always fun. And yes, the people watching on Zoom are seeing that as well. So congratulations, yay. So if you look in the drive, this is what we have. We've got course 1, 2, 3. These are the 3 older ones, and today's course is here. And oh, look what I did. I did not do one thing, which I should have done, which is share with you the and I want to move that into the other drive, don't I? The 7 weeks certificate. Can someone confirm for me that you are seeing? That should have shown up there. It did not. Labs in France. Okay, maybe it's higher. Yes, it is. Okay. It's not. I don't know what meeting questions do, so I'm turning that off. Make a copy. Prepare the copy to there we go. Finally have it here. Okay, so you now have everything you need. And I will be right. I will change the name later, but at least you have it. This is where we're going to follow the labs from. Okay. And this, by the way, is the video you should have watched. This is the official Google video about communications, but hey, here's what it is. Might as well close the old ones.
Maybe you've asked AI.
Here we go. All right, can everyone see my screen? Yes, no, drop in the chat, just so I know we're good. All right, thanks, Fozia. And today, of course, is simply, we're going to be using Gemini for writing and communications. It's basically pretty straightforward, right? You've pretty much used it. Most people, this is how you use AI. You go into Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude and you just ask a question, get an answer, ask a question, get an answer. And what we're going to do today is just, simple things a little bit beyond question and answer. We're going to take a meeting notes transcript and turn that into a structured report with decisions and with owners. Now, this is actually something that most AI note takers already do, but this is just showing you how Gemini can do the same thing. The second example is going to be pressure testing a proposal. So basically, you're asking Gemini here to be the devil's advocate for you. And just, to whatever question whatever you've come up with, whatever idea, it will check to see what your blind spots are, and it'll push you against that. And number 3 is we're going to actually use Canvas in Gemini, which is a really useful tool. It lets you create things, yes, but then after that, it lets you structure documents based on who's going to be receiving it. Because as you can imagine, a CEO receiving a result of a meeting is going to have a very different need than the employees who need to hear it, right? So if your team needs to take action on things, they're going to need a different view of that same meeting notes. And then we're not actually going to do the talking points, because guess what? Gemini Live is harder to do on screen, but you can practice that off screen. You can practice that on your own at home, no problems. And you have the example. Go to the official Google video again, and from there you can just watch what they do and do the same thing. Any questions so far? Was that clear? Yes, no? Obviously, it was just the agenda, so no questions, not a problem. And now the question is, why is communication different from brainstorming or research? Basically, at this point, it's not just you knowing what it is you're trying to say. Yep, Google Live is extremely easy to use. I just don't feel like demonstrating it here, especially since I don't have my headphones with me. Sorry, Jackie. So the difference is that with communication, it's not just about knowing what you want to achieve or what you want the AI to achieve. It's also being able to communicate that, like to get the person receiving your message to understand. So that's the point of today's session. And again, the AI doesn't know your audience. It doesn't understand your voice and authenticity. So you have to make sure that it sounds like you. Don't just take everything the AI says, because AI amazingly sounds like AI. Because you know what? It's been trained on everybody's. It's basically a conglomeration of the whole world's voice. So it sounds like generic. And don't forget again, accountability is your responsibility. Like if it sends out something on your behalf, not smart. You should read it first before it goes. And again, final thing is sometimes you don't need an email or a document to go out. You just need a call to someone, or maybe not even any message at all. There's no need for it. So something like that. Again, if people have questions on the YouTube. Okay, I can't even find my YouTube. There we go. There it is. If there are any questions, drop them in the chat. Dimitri and company. Anyone who's watching on there. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a meeting notes and we're going to actually put that into some kind of document that you can share. And we're going to actually give Gemini a persona, specify the exact sections you need, don't force it to guess, and then ask it to grade its own output. Yeah. So this time, let's go look at our, okay, how do I hide that? Hide my floating meeting controls. There we go. And all we're going to do is check the action items. Okay, first we're going to use the onboarding status meeting transcript blah. And where do you find that? Oh, Shoni, no, this is not number 4, or this is not number 1, this is class number 4. And there were 3 other ones. You can watch the replays on YouTube. So if you go into the sample docs in the drive, you will see number 1 is the meeting transcript sample. So that's what we're going to use. And once we've seen that, let's go into Gemini and create a new chat. This is meant to be a 90-minute session. By the way, we might end earlier if there's not a whole lot of questions, because the labs are pretty straightforward, as you can imagine. Yep, so I'm just going to start a Gemini console. And yes, I do have Pro. So in Gemini, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to upload that file. No, not from there. I want to upload a file from the drive, actually. It's shared with me. And that's this one. Here we go, course number 4. Sample docs and onboarding status meetup. There we go. So we've got that uploaded. Why is it trying to ask me for a mini app? It's annoying. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy this prompt, or you can just rephrase it in your own words. You can attach your own transcript, and you probably should if you've got a transcript, or, if you've got anything that you need to summarize and get action items out of. Or, for example, if there's a YouTube video you watched and you've got the transcript for that, um, you can ask it to summarize what action items you can use to get the same results that the YouTube video was talking about. And the reason I suggested YouTube videos is simply a lot of us turn to YouTube for tutorials on how to do things, right? So that's what that kind of thing can come in here, drop it into Gemini, and then ask it to do whatever it is that we want it to do. And in this case, you'll notice it's even given the format that we want for the output. And as usual, it's too long to put into YouTube as a single prompt, so I put it in as 2 prompts. So if you're following along and you want to just copy and paste, then you can just use that and paste it into Gemini. Otherwise, do your own. There's absolutely no issues with that. In fact, doing your own is probably better, because then you get a result that's pertinent to you, useful to you. Again, I should warn you, this is a very beginner course, hence the spoon feeding. If I was teaching this to an advanced audience, I would probably actually skip most of this, because I would assume you've already done that. My YouTube, my PDF is ready. Hey. So bullet list of decisions, let's open it. Let's see what that looks like. Tells you exactly what decisions were made, action items, and you see who's responsible and what's the deadline date. And some things don't have a deadline date as long as it gets done before the rollout. Yeah. So again, very simple stuff. If you've got any questions, drop them in the chat. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just go to Flash rather than Flashlight. Okay, now, of course, the next step is the pretty obvious one. Look at the report. Give me 1 second. I have a question here that actually is relevant. Oshoni, you said you're just joining today, and that's perfectly fine. None of this is ever at a stage that you cannot catch up. All you have to do is go watch the previous replays. They're already on YouTube. It's very easy to catch up. It's literally probably going to take you a couple of hours to watch the videos, but the labs themselves maybe take 2 hours max. The link to the lab. Do you mean the link to the, I'm dropping the link to this, which is the document that has all the steps to the labs. I'm hoping that's what you meant when you asked for the link to the lab. Amanda, I mean. So again, open that, make sure that this is actually doing everything. But while you check it manually, you also just get AI to check itself, right? Doesn't cost you anything. Actually is extremely useful. And that's basically it. You just drop that short little thing into Gemini, tell it to do that. So this is a self-evaluation, just literally saying, make sure it's correct, make sure it's clear, and make sure it's brief. And as you can see, it scores very well on its own. And I don't know if that's just because it knows already what this was. So again. But it's pretty good to know that it grades itself 10 out of 10 on pretty much everything. Yay. If it had flagged an issue, you would ask it to suggest a fix for it. Because it knows what's wrong, so might as well fix it. And again, if you're doing this on your own document that you fed into Gemini, this is where the self-evaluation and then the iteration and fixing based on the feedback makes a difference. So that's basically it. So anything that you've got, any documents that you've got that need this kind of reframing, action items, and all of that, you basically just dump into Gemini and say, okay, help me make sense of this, make sure that it's accurate. If there were inaccuracies, please fix it for me. And of course, if you're using Google Meet, the built-in note-taking feature already does pretty much all of this stuff. And then you can just add that little bit of extra self-evaluation step and then the refinement step. Okay, now again, something that most of us have come across, whether you've done it in university when you're trying to defend a thesis, when you're talking to friends and you're trying to present a trip idea, for example, and you want buy-in from them, or you're making a presentation to your boss, right? In all these cases, you want to be prepared beforehand. So even before the meeting starts, you want to work with your AI, in this case, Gemini, and ask it to find the gaps and then to fix the gaps and then to look at it from different viewpoints. That's what the next lab is all about. Did you guys have any questions at all about lab 1? If so, drop them in the chat. I'm going to give you a second. I'm going to go take a look at YouTube as well. Nope. All right. Thanks, Jackie. Anyone else? Nope. All right. So this time we're going to take lab 1 you missed. Again, watch the replay. Oh, you missed the lab 1 altogether. Okay. Watch the replay later. And if you look in the chat, I swear I said hide these floating panels. Okay. The labs are all in here. How could you summarize this video later? That's actually a good question. You can basically take the transcript from this video and summarize it. That simple. Not exactly radical. Or go to YouTube, download the transcript from there, because obviously after an hour or two, it'll have the transcript. And just again, same thing, exactly the same thing. Okay, so the second example, we're going to, like we said, going to make it play devil's advocate, ask us all the questions that we don't think of, so that when we're talking to our boss or, the venture capitalist or your friends trying to decide on that trip, you will know beforehand the kind of questions to expect that you hadn't thought of, because obviously you've got the picture clear in your head. They don't. So that's what this session is going to be, this next lab. Yeah. And again, I'm using a canned example. You can do your own. You should do your own. Definitely do your own. And I'm dropping it into YouTube, and as usual, dropping it as multiple parts, 2 parts, because YouTube takes a bit less, it allows less space for me to put prompts in. Okay, so this time we're starting a new chat, not the old one that we had. Gemini, drop this into your new chat. Yeah, so there's basically, it's still the same example we've been doing for 3 weeks. It's a new hire onboarding program. We're going to be the AI is going to act as the head of operations, and they're going to review the document. The document in this case is document 2. And I hate that it makes me do this every time, but okay, I can deal with it. Course 4, sample documents. And this one is the onboarding revamp proposal. Yeah. And then we're asking Gemini, based on your role as the head of operations, what kind of things do you need? Okay. It actually went straight into, I am responding to you more. That's hilarious. But here's the thing. You mentioned reducing unplanned time, helping new hires reach full productivity faster. And that's a very good point. What is success? What does success look like? Very cool. And it's telling me, this is now talking to me. Yeah. So you've got, again, based on whatever it is that you fed in, we fed in, if you did the example in the lab, a very light document that didn't have all the details. So now in the same chat, we're simply going to ask Gemini itself to correct that, to resolve it. And, or rather, we're going to tell it what we plan to do and see if that's good enough. As usual, I'm having to cut the script into 2 for YouTube. So, and you want it to push back if needed. So let's go do that. Drop that into the chat. So again, as a CFO, even that's not enough. You need more. So just go back and forth with it. What else might do that? Okay. Oops, wrong direction. Okay, so if I provide all of that, you'd be able to sign off on this. Are there any other issues that could raise that? So basically, you're just, as always, talking back and forth with the AI, trying to absolutely, get clear, get a good grasp on everything. And you should actually be reading these things, right? I'm just speeding through them, but you should read them, understand whether it makes sense. Practice them in your head or out loud, actually, is even better before the actual chat with your friends or your boss or your, CFO, actually, so that you know the questions and answers that are likely to crop up, and you can answer them confidently and correctly. Okay, that's the end of lab 2. How's everyone doing? Are you all managing to keep up? Are you struggling with anything? Does this work for you? Drop your questions in the chat. If you're confused about anything, definitely ask. Thanks, Jackie. All right. Yay, I've got two people actually awake and participating. This is fun. Okay, so now what we're going to do with step 3. Thanks, James. I'm impressed you're awake. Still awake. I haven't put you to sleep. Happy about that. Okay, so now you've got the gaps. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to fill those gaps. Please update the document to fill those gaps. Make a fresh copy if you need. I know, that's why I said I'm surprised I haven't put you back to sleep. 7 a.m. in San Francisco. Or, sorry, where were you? I know you were on the West Coast. I've forgotten where exactly. And that was to James. Okay, so you see it actually came up with the whole document there. Once I told it to fix the issues. And now that it's got the whole thing, we're going to tell it to give you a simple summary, a 2-sentence summary. And there we go. Got this whole thing done. Yay. So now you have something you can present to your actual CFO or whatever. So again, you can see now that the whole thing is focused specifically for this persona that you told it to be. Now, if you had asked for a CEO's persona, it would probably have given you a different set of priorities. If you had asked for the project manager's persona who's got to get this implemented, it would have been again completely different. That's the whole point of being able to do multiple personas. And, you've probably had this before where you've asked a question, where you made a presentation and then you get skeptical questions that you weren't expecting. So just keep this in mind. It's a good idea to practice with your AI. And this is a Gemini course, of course, because this is the Google AI Professional Certification that we're studying for. But you can do this with any AI. You can do this in ChatGPT, you can do this in Claude, I'm sure you can do this in Kimi and DeepSeek and whatever else you've got. Yeah. And again, if you've got questions, please, please, please ask in the chat. The lab number 3 is actually going to be using Canvas inside Gemini. And we're going to be interacting with that and telling it to make presentations differently based on who the audience is, not just text. So the idea is one source of truth and many versions, right? So we've got this new document and we're going to do chain of thought prompting for each stakeholder's priorities first. Then we select which points to highlight for that kind of person. And Canvas basically is built for drafting and editing documents interactively. And you can just highlight this tiny bit of text you want and tell Gemini to fix just that little bit. Okay, so this time we're going to need number 3. Lab 3 here. And we're going to need, obviously, the document number 3 as well. So again, you start in chat, switch to Canvas for the drafting and inline steps. Again, start a new chat. Attach the launch report PDF and paste this prompt. Okay, what I'm going to do first is generate a PDF. Wait, no. Yeah, this PDF, not the one we just did. So Again, add from the drive, do the usual thing, connect, go to the place, go to course 4, sample docs, and this time that's the launch report. And we grab the sample prompt. This one thinks that it's a VP of, that I'm a VP of operations. And based on that, I want the responses that are relevant to me, which makes sense because I mean, I don't care about the CFO or somebody else in the company. I just care about what makes sense for me, for me to be able to do my job. So again, CFO has a different viewpoint, ops manager has a different point of view, all of that. So, but first, let's just go into the chat and ask for that basic question. Ask for the basic 5 points. So here you go. Very simple. 5 key points from the report to highlight in your email to the company. What do CEOs do? No, VP of operations just wants to give people in the company the confidence that the actions that their team is taking is going to actually have good results for the rest of the company. So this is basically the short list, and we'll use this as the foundation for the 2 audience-specific emails. So in this, we're going to actually, in the same chat, just tell it who the two stakeholders are that we're talking to. And then we want it to actually think about their priorities first before choosing the points to highlight. And you should evaluate this visually. Make sure that these things are being covered for the CFO, these things for the ops manager. Palo Alto, near San Francisco. Yeah, lovely little city. I lived in Menlo Park for a year. Very nice space. Okay, and dropping it in the chat for YouTubers. Okay, so let's go ahead and paste that into the chat. And again, folks, I'm going to keep reminding you, you should be doing your own versions as well of this, not just the canned version. The canned version is good because it's easy for us all to follow along and get similar answers. But unless you experiment with this on your own, you're not going to be able to use it on your own when you need it. So, you think of situations in your own company, in your own, maybe you're in university. What kind of the presentation that you make to your professor is going to be very different from the presentation you would make to your graduating committee, for example, or to your teammates, your colleagues in your class. All right. So again, did that work? Was that good enough? And now we're going to go tools and Canvas in the Gemini interface. And all we're going to say is draft these. Draft the email to the CFO, include the point, and make sure first you go into Gemini and put it in Canvas mode, which is right here, right? In case you didn't see, down here at the bottom, there's a plus. Click that and Canvas is right there. And that's all I'm saying is draft the email to the CFO. Include the prioritized points. Very simple little command. And you'll see these lovely little dots doing their little dance. And you've got the message there. So I'm just highlighting, for example, this and saying, put in my name. No, that was annoying. Should have put in my name. There you go. It did. Okay. Oh, I missed that. Jackie, that's great. You said it was really helpful in your speech last week. Two stakeholders in the audience had opposing views. And were you actually prepared for that? Like, how did this help? Or how did Gemini help? And why did we do Canvas? Because if you did a chat thread, then you've got a reply that you have to manually edit, whereas Canvas does it live. And you saw that, right? It basically put my name in there, right there. What does a good draft look like? Strong CFO email leads with the financial outcome, of course, uses bullet points as evidence, and then closes with the clear ask, less than 150 words. If the draft is longer than 150 words, that's the first thing we do. And this is clearly longer than 150 words. Can you tighten this up to about 150 words? That, or whatever length you find useful. Oh, good. So Jackie, you already did dialogue with Gemini before. Nice. How does it write your name? I actually just double clicked here where it said your name, and I typed in Maya. I can type in Melissa and hit enter. And I think the next draft will have Melissa there. Yep, changed it on the fly. So I didn't have to do it. Basically, the idea is if the AI can do it, make the AI do it. You don't need to do it over by hand. This does not, to me, look like 145 words. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this out, take it over to thing, and count it. Okay, it actually is 125 words. All right, in that case, I will not whine at it anymore. Okay, so that's pretty short. All right, so that was lab number 3. Oh, we have one more step, sorry. We want to make it even more short, make it more direct, remove the jargon, add a specific call to action, make it warmer, like whatever you want. I'm actually going to say make this more direct because I prefer that. Make this more direct. But again, you do whatever you want. Okay, that's tighter. I'm still going to say it's still too wordy. Can we compact this down to maybe just 3 bullet points? So you see, I'm just talking to it, telling it what I want. I'm not particularly focused on, yeah. So there we go. So you basically treat it just like, it's your very good executive assistant who understands what you do, who talks the same language you do. So super simple. And you can tell it, add a call to action, make the tone warmer, whatever it is, right? So that's it. So instead of having to go back and forth, and then you creating different versions, you can just have Canvas do it for you. And in order to do that, I'm actually going to go back here. Can you now make a more complete version that I can hand to the PM, that I can send to the PM? More detailed version. So all this time I've been asking for make it briefer, make it briefer, make it briefer. And now I'm just being annoying with it and telling it different things. Let's see, again, in a second, you've got it. And this time it's going to the PM. And for the PM, it needs much more detail, so it's giving more detail. Yeah. And again, yeah, you can stick this, you can do this for all different modes. You can do this for Slack, you can do it for your executive deck, a performance review, whatever. So basically the idea is you don't want to send the same generic update to everyone because, as you know, one size fits all basically means one size fits none. Nobody is happy. Everybody gets something generic. Everybody goes, who cares? It's not relevant to me. Okay, so that was lab 3. We still have a good 50 minutes if we want to take it all the way to the end. So if you've got questions, ask your questions. And I don't have my phone right beside me, of course. So this basically, I'm going to say do this live, do this on your own phone, talk to Gemini. Assume you've got Gemini Live there. Use the app, tap into live, and then you're basically just, the scenario is you're trying to tell the department manager that their timeline is slipping, and I'm not looking forward to have that conversation. I'm not looking forward to having that conversation, right? This is something that I actually do myself. If there's a conversation I'm dreading, I always practice with an AI. So I practice with me in my role, I practice flipping it around and saying, now pretend you are me and I'm the person I need to talk to. So it gives me multiple perspectives. It's really, really helpful. So try this. Take this into Gemini. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to try this on your phone. Have the conversation, talk to it, talk back to it. And change the scenario. You don't need to be the VP of people operations. Whatever it is that you're dreading, the conversation, have that conversation with Gemini and see how that goes. Jackie said how she role played her presentation last week, and that's basically what you're trying to do here. So again, if you're on YouTube, I'm splitting this into multiple sentences, because into multiple things there. No. Okay, so I'm going to go on mute for a few seconds and let you guys actually role play that in Gemini Live on your phone. Does everyone have Gemini Live on your phone? If not, go ahead and install it. We've got plenty of time. And then do this lab. Okay. Do the back and forth. get feedback, and then basically look at this. It should tell you what were your strengths, what were your weaknesses, what suggestions does it have. So go ahead and do that. And you can run this scenario, obviously, with any number of scenarios, right? You can change the manager's emotional state too. You can change the severity of the delay of your opening approach just to check, right? Everything, just keep it under 5 minutes. Go back and forth. This is now open season. Go ahead and um, go ahead and do the presentation. Do that live lab. I'm just going to sit here and watch you guys struggle or not struggle. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're actually doing that lab live. Muted, unmute. Yeah, I'm talking on mute. That's always useful. Yes, it is because I was on the phone, but then I was trying to unmute and I clearly didn't. Okay, thank you for those of you who had to leave. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, hopefully that worked. Hopefully that worked well. All right. Difficult conversations on the phone. Yes. Previous sessions. Previous sessions are, let me just check. Where are our replays? Was I smart enough? Of course not. Okay. Previous sessions are on YouTube. Yep. In the email, it'll be there as replays. There's a link in there. And I can actually probably bring that up. Channel dashboard. Let's go to content, playlist. Where's the playlist? Here we go. Share. And of course, those who are on YouTube are seeing this live anyway, but if you need the replay, it's on there. Yeah. Yeah, you're in, Vitaly. You don't have to ask. This is just a study group. So it's not like, there's no penalties for joining late. You can join now. You can join literally in week 7. It makes no difference. There will be people who see this on YouTube after these sessions are complete, and they will watch it too. So the idea is we're going through the same official YouTube professional certificate playlist.
Maybe you've asked AI to.
Except that we are going on a slower pace in a group so that you have someone you can ask questions to. And at the end of this, you can sign up at Google Skills and just take the 7-day free trial and then just go. It took me 10 hours, I think, to do the whole thing. So that's literally how fast you can do it. The point is, if you practice, if you attend these sessions, you don't even need to attend the sessions. Just go through this playlist, do the videos, do the labs, get familiar with Gemini. That's really all you need to do. Is anyone still working on the live? Are you done? Thanks, Rahul. That's good to know. And Joe, you think there's going to be another cohort and you want to start on session 1? I don't know if I'm going to do another cohort just because if I'm already putting this on YouTube, what's the point of me repeating it? What would be the advantage, Joe, of me running this again? That's what I want to know. Advantage to you of me running this again. Brian, you're so welcome. And also a 1 pin, yeah. Yeah. And Joe, not only is this already there on YouTube, there's also the two-day session. I did an intensive. I did basically all 7 lessons. No, I did 6 lessons. I skipped lesson 1. I did 2, 3, and 4 on Saturday, and I did 5, 6, and 7 on Sunday. That was a couple of weeks ago, but if you want the replay link for that, I can grab that as well. So you see here the weekend intensive playlist. So if you want to do it quickly and just get that done, go watch that playlist. Everything's on there. And actually, this presentation that I gave you today is the exact same presentation I did in the two-day thing. Just I'm slowing it down here because we had more time. That's all. Any other questions? Concerns? Doubts? And the exam, honestly, it's not an exam. For each of the 7 courses, there's a quiz. It's a multiple choice quiz. This is why I said practice is needed. because you're just picking out of 5 options or 4 options. That's it. So you have to know the stuff really well. To get the certificate, you go to, let me just go skills.google.com, this path. This is the specific course. Oh no, sorry, wrong thing. I thought I copied it. I didn't. That one. That takes you to the actual course. That's the Google AI certification. And this is at Google Skills, right? So you get the free trial. Oh, because I'm in an account that doesn't have access. Fine. Yeah, you can retake the quizzes as many times as you want. I think chapter 6, the quiz is one that you can take maximum of 3 times a day. So that just means if you fail it, come back the next day and try again. Um, I'm not going to give you the answers to the quizzes. I mean, really, you should be very, very confident by the time you attempt the quizzes. And by the way, just a tip: the Google AI certification course thingy, the official videos, that's basically the exact same videos that are in the Google Skills. So the Google Drive link. Okay, I thought we had them already, but if not, oh, that's the wrong Google Drive. My Drive. 7-week study group. Where's the attendee handout? And here's the Google Drive link. Copy, paste. One more time, Google Drive link. For folks on YouTube, you've already got the Google Drive link. And do you have any questions? No, no questions there. I still have 5 people watching on YouTube. As you move forward, no, we're not expected to access the LLM interface live during the exam. So it's just testing that you know how to use it. It's not asking you to use it live, if that makes sense. And yes, in case you're looking, I have thousands of profiles. All right. Sounds like most people are done. Questions are answered. I'll give you 2 more minutes if you have any more questions. Other than that, we've basically covered number 4, which is basically AI for writing and communication. So have a great week, and I will see you all next week. And if you missed any of the old sessions, go watch the replays. Okay? Have a great week, guys. Bye. Now I can't get rid of the. This is fun. Go to Zoom and close meeting.